The other day, I almost fell into a Dubai property scam. Okay, hear me out. A developer approached me about a prime investment opportunity in Dubai Islands. So they handed me this glossy brochure showcasing this really nice waterfront property, stunning views, beautiful green parks, trees stretching out in front of the building. On paper, it looked incredible, but something felt off. So I decided to dig a little bit deeper and I met with another developer who's also building in that area. And that's when I discovered the truth. You see this park in front with all these green trees? Didn't exist. What the brochure failed to mention was that there was actually another row of buildings directly in front of the development. So rather than a waterside view, you'd be looking at people hanging up their washing. Now, in other words, the developer had completely misrepresented what the buyer would actually be getting for the money. And this actually happens a lot of the time in the Dubai real estate market. Developers and agents know exactly how to sell the dream, but they hide the reality. And if you aren't careful, it can cost you some serious dirhams. So in this video, I'll show you the 3 key details you must check before signing any deal in Dubai and how to make sure your property actually holds its value. Let's say you're looking at 2 identical properties in the same area. One is priced at 2 million dirhams and the other one is asking 2.6 million dirhams. This more expensive one has a fancier brochure, a high-end showroom, a premium sales agent who keeps telling you this is a premium product. But how do you actually know if that extra 600,000 dirhams is justified? Let me show you an example with the Mac Hills 2, an area in Dubai. Now, when we analysed this area, surprisingly, we found something. Now, apartment prices have been stuck around the 900 dirhams per square foot mark for the last 3 years. In other words, there's been no appreciation and no growth in that sector. Meanwhile, the villas and townhouses in the same community have seen a price increase. And this is where most investors go wrong. They assume that just because a developer sets a price, it must be accurate, but Dubai's real estate market doesn't work like that. Developers can charge whatever they want, and it's up to you to verify whether that price actually makes sense. So the first thing I always check before buying any property in Dubai is the price per square foot. To solve this problem, I use a tool that allows you to analyze every property transaction in Dubai, DXB Interact. This software allows you to actually see the price per square foot for similar properties, so you know whether you're being overcharged. Number 2, you can actually compare what buyers are really paying in that area instead of relying on sales pitches. And number 3, you can check how prices have changed over time, because if a property hasn't appreciated in years, or a type of property, you need to ask yourself why. For example, a developer might justify charging up to 30% above the market rate for things like better engineering, premium materials, or even unique features. And sometimes that premium is definitely justified. It's legitimate. Maybe it's a one-of-a-kind development using top-tier brands and appliances. But when we see properties priced 30 to 50% above the average area, that's a red flag. At that point, there's a real risk that the developer is just inflating the price used to maximize their profit at your expense. And this is exactly the kind of insight you need before making a purchase. However, even if the price makes sense, there are still 2 ways developers might catch you out. We recently worked with a guy who wanted to buy a villa in an amazing Emaar community, and it was a premium location, reasonable price, and on the surface, it looked like a great deal. But when I looked at where the villa was actually located, I noticed something that the developer's agent had conveniently downplayed. The property backed onto the E311, one of Dubai's busiest motorways, with I think around 7,000 cars going across it every hour. This master plan showed this massive buffer zone between the road and the villa community. But in reality, this would only be around 100 or 200 meters maximum. So this client would have had a constant stream of cars whizzing past his premium peaceful villa day and night. Needless to say, he didn't go ahead. And this isn't just about noise. Major infrastructure like this affects everything, from your daily commute and to your property's future value. So this is why, before buying any Dubai property, you need to understand exactly where your property sits on the master plan. And more importantly, what's going to be built around it. But this can be challenging in Dubai because it's not always available to the public. So rather than relying on the marketing materials, we go straight to the source. We go down to the developer's office. We check the zoning plans, the land registries, and future infrastructure projects to see and get a real picture of what's coming. Because if you buy into an area that ends up booming, the price of your asset is going to go with it. So it goes back to that old time advice: location, location, location. Once you understand the actual value of the property and the future plans for the location, that there's just one more thing to cross-check. Just before we touch on the last point, if you are an expat looking to invest in Dubai and you would like advice on where, how, and what things to look out for, click on the link in the description. You can book a free call and I'll point you in the right direction with your investment. Imagine you've just spent millions on your dream home in Dubai. Sales agent showed you this beautiful renders of your view. Then the construction finishes. You get your keys, you walk into your new property, step onto your balcony, boom, staring directly into someone else's living room. When developers talk about community views or neighborhood views or boulevard views, these aren't necessarily always bad things. But if you're buying into a well-established area where you understand the community and what's in there, that's all right. But often, what developers call a community view could actually be just your property looking onto an empty plot of land. And while that might not sound so terrible at first, you need to ask yourself, what's going to be built on that empty plot? How far away will the next building be? And most importantly, how will it affect the sunlight? This is especially important if you're buying in areas with waterfronts, parks, or premium greenery, because I've seen new developments that go up that completely block out the sun, leaving neighboring apartments in permanent shadow. If you're paying millions for a property with an amazing view, you need to verify exactly what those views will be, not just today, but in the future, once all surrounding developments are actually complete. Because once you've bought the property, that view, whatever it turns out to be, you're stuck with. That said, there are a few areas around Dubai that are safer to invest than others. And based on our research, they are set to perform very well over the next few years. So check out this next video to find out where smart investors are buying right now.